Have you thought about using your stamps and inks that you use for paper crafting, but using them on fabric instead? Well, today I'm showing you how to take some of those simple supplies and use them to create some fun designs on your fabric pieces. We're going to look at how to make this. This is part of the Altenew's Modern and Edgy blog hop, so if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, make sure you check out my blog too. I'm Verity and welcome to my blog, Pretty Little Button, where I make paper crafting tutorials for the everyday crafter. So today I'm going to be using the new Inky Lily stamp and die set. It also comes with a masking stencil as well, but I'm just using the actual stamp set today. Of course, Altenew always give you an insert with plenty of inspiration on how to use the stamp and also how to layer up the stamp. So I'm going to use a fabric sort of pouch here. It's already pre-made. I brought this, just some simple plain fabric. And what I'm going to do is I'm just putting a scrap piece of card inside the pouch because I don't want the ink to stamp through to the other side of the fabric. I'm just protecting the other side by placing some card inside the pouch and then zipping it up. I'm going to use some new Pigment inks that have been released by Altenew, and I'm using their Glacier Cave set. This is a selection of 4 different coloured blues, and I'm only going to use 2 of the blues today. I've also added all of the stamp designs I want to use for this project onto acrylic blocks all ready to go, so it's just easy to pick up whatever stamp I choose to stamp with. So I'm using the big floral Inky Lily stamp first because I find that if you stamp out the biggest images first, you can then add in and fill in with the smaller stamps. It's much harder to then go in and stamp in those large designs if you've already used all the small stamps. There may not be much space left. So I have just inked up the lily with the Persian blue ink, and then I've stamped on. Now I didn't get the best impression, and I didn't go and re-ink the stamp. I just lined it back over and stamped it down again. This just filled in any areas where I hadn't stamped so well. In the end, I then went in and put some foam pad underneath just to give a bit of resistance to help increase the stamping quality as I was stamping. You could do this in your Misty tool if you wanted to, but I was quite happy just doing it this way. I have sped the video up just to show you the process quickly. It's very simple. I'm just stamping and inking up each stamp and stamping it down. Now, towards the top of the pouch where the zip is, I did have to ensure that I gave it a good amount of pressure. Because of that zipped area, there is a bit more of a difference in variation in height within that area of the fabric, and you need to ensure you could give pressure to get a good stamping appearance. Just filling in any of the gaps with some of the leaves and just rotating them for a little bit more added interest and variation. Now obviously this was a plain white piece of fabric and zipped pouch, but you can use any colour you have. Obviously you need to make sure that the colour ink you use with it will contrast and appear on it. So the stamp set also comes with some of the inside parts of the flower because it is a layering stamp set, and I'm not going to use all of the layers. However, I am going to fill in some of them. And I'm using the darkest ink, the Sapphire, out of the Glacier Caves Pigment ink, and I'm using this to stamp the pollen aspect onto the flowers. Now, I'm using pigment inks and not dye inks. You need to use pigment inks when you're stamping with this will dry into the fabric and you can heat set it so it won't run. This blue really contrasts lovely with the lighter blue, and I find this colour scheme was a lovely muted, quite simple monochromatic scheme that worked beautifully because of course white pairs beautifully with blues. So once I've stamped all the pollen bit, there is also this inky splatter that you'll see in lilies that have that beautiful pattern to it. And then I'm just going to go in and stamp that as well, again in the blue Sapphire. It's quite easy to line up, and because it has got sort of an organic look to it, it isn't too bad if you don't get it correctly aligned because you won't necessarily notice that. This really just steps up and adds a little bit more interest to those flowers. So as this part of the Altenew blog hop, do make sure that you go over to my blog to enter. You need to leave a comment and hop along. The more places you comment, the more chances you have to win. Altenew are giving away $300 in total in prizes. This is to celebrate the release, and they're giving away $50 gift cards to 2 lucky winners, as well as 8 $25 gift cards to winners as well. Now, as I said, because this is pigment ink, you do need to heat set it. It's really important that you heat set it. You can either use your iron, and if you do use your iron, I just place a piece of fabric over the top to protect your iron from the ink, or you can use a heat gun to heat set it. Now I stamped this on both sides to give it a continuous pattern throughout the pouch, and I have now a beautifully decorated, unique fabric pouch that I can fill with whatever I want. Here I've obviously included a lot of my Altenew pens and ink blending tools. Let me know in the comments below, have you tried using your stamps and inks on fabrics? It's such a fun way to get more from your stash and to create projects that you could even give as gifts. If you're new to my channel, why not think about subscribing? You can hit that bell icon and be notified when my next video is up. Until next time, happy crafting!